find some of the best dope God ever put around here.
JustinFREAKIN is a formidable voice in the culture.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
You live in sexual anarchy.
This is the Patrol live with JustinFREAKIN.
Red Wine, welcome in. Soup, my lord, warlord. I need to tighten my arm back up again. It's got erectile dysfunction going on. Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. It's a freaking Tuesday. I don't know, it looks weird with the chat disappearing now. I can't decide how I want to do the chat, I guess. I don't know. DJ Dub, welcome in. I'm experimenting with different things because YouTube don't like you guys being on screen. And I want to get bigger on YouTube. That's, to me, it seems like the way to get more exposure is through YouTube, and then it attracts more people to the live show on Twitch. It's a whole symbiotic relationship. That's what I'm thinking. Let me go in, I'll adjust the settings here. Welcome. As I chase social media fame, let's try 60 seconds and see how we like it. Everybody's doing well on this Tuesday. We got a lot of news to cover. I'm going to try to make it a short one, but you know how that goes every time I say that. The main reason I wanted to come on is because I have a story about a man with no arms. No legs. He is a quadruple amputee. No arms, no legs. Well, I shouldn't say he's got nubs. He's got like elbow nubs. Maybe he shouldn't disappear at all. I don't fucking know. Cause like I made it smaller on the other screen. Maybe that's the way to go. But the dude's got no arms. He's been charged with murder. And you know, you wanna ask the question, well, how the fuck did he fire a gun? Because he's accused of shooting people and murdering them. It is absolutely the kind of story we would cover here on the Troll Patrol. A woman in Florida has been accused of pissing in her Airbnb. He's a quadruple amputee cornhole champion. Yes, we've got video of him playing cornhole, and spoiler alert, I've also got video of him loading a gun and firing it. I thought that was the main reason I wanted to do the story. I wanted to come on, do this story so I could make the YouTube video and be like, surely the man with no arms couldn't fire a gun, and then play the video of him firing a gun. He's mostly armless and very footloose. The whole story is wild. Holy shit. You know what else is wild? The idea that Iran thinks the meeting the U.S. is trying to set up with them in order to negotiate for peace is just a setup to assassinate the rest of their leadership. And they have every reason to believe that. Why wouldn't they believe that after all the shit that Israel and the United States have pulled? Why wouldn't you believe that? Also, I didn't get a chance to put it on the story today, or on the sheet today, but my God, apparently we have an aircraft carrier or a battleship or something that is now out of action for over a year because they said there was a fluff in the laundry room. But the word going around, I would only need to learn how to load a gun once. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, that's some dark humor. I love it. All right, that might be tiptoeing on TOS there, DJ Dub. That's what I love about you. That's what I love about you. Let's tiptoe right up on the where is the line. Mark Wayne Mullen being sworn in. We'll take that here in a little bit. We got a new senator. Senators Mark Wayne Mullen's replacement in the Senate already been named. Minnesota suing the DOJ over the Alex Pretty and Renee Good shootings. Man said he killed a 19-year-old in self-defense. We've got some video. I'm going to let you make up your own mind. A trooper is explaining why he beat a handcuffed man. A woman in Virginia was wrongfully jailed for days because cops mistook her for a fugitive. We've got a road rage incident in Newport Beach that was caught on camera. Shipping containers in the Bay Area could fall, and a story about raw meat on the sidewalk. All that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol live, or this afternoon. I keep, we've changed times. This afternoon on the Troll Patrol live. Gonna go ahead and hit the content warning on this because this sounds terrifying. Oh, me too, DJ Dub. That's why I get so upset. I don't know if you guys have seen the right-wing propaganda against Canada's assisted suicide laws. If you have seen right-wingers post about it, you would think they're handing out assisted suicide for you get a headache and the Canadian government is telling you, hey, have you thought about assisted suicide, which just isn't true. And that's another thing, like we had Dr. Kevorkian, and I grew up with 90s cartoons, so I thought Dr. Kevorkian was like the most evil man to ever walk the planet. But my God, that dude was a fucking hero. Trying to help people bring their lives to an end with dignity. Let them live a life without pain. Hello, Cricks, welcome in. Hope you guys are doing well. Suicide is bad, ass. That's a line from Sonny. I'm so sorry. Oh, I made a command for it. I'm sorry. I was looking for it on my... I was looking for it on my list of shit so I could just copy and paste that message, but I actually made a command for it. So please, guys, if we're ever on the topic, please. It is not a joking issue, and I don't want to lose anybody to depression and suicidal ideation. I love you all. Please hit the bang help if you think that would be helpful whenever we are discussing such things in the chat. I'm gonna just I'm gonna vamp for a few minutes and we'll take 420 here in about 6 minutes. So if you'd like to join me for 420, get your marijuana accoutrements ready. Never heard a good word about him, and I don't like it's not Tiny Toons' fault for, and I don't even know if Tiny Toons ever did a bit, but it feels like that's a, they would have, Dr. Kevorkian, and pulled in like a real evil looking man and shit. It feels like a real Tiny Toons thing to do. But I don't know that they meant it maliciously. It was just, what was going on in the culture and everything. But there was a lot of propaganda in the 90s. This is one of the things that, it was one class I took in the communications department. It wasn't in my broadcasting. It wasn't in my litany of broadcasting classes I took. It was in the communications department. And I don't remember what the class specifically was, but it was about, it was about propaganda, basically, is what the class was. But I can't. It was some sort of speech and debate or yada 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 something class. And they took a survey of what everybody thought about the story, like a blind survey, so everybody can give their opinions and shit about what everyone thought about the case of the woman who had spilled the coffee on herself in the McDonald's drive-thru. And she got this, multi-million-dollar payout and everything. And for the longest time, it was used as the paramount case for tort reform. But when you actually look into the facts of the case, McDonald's was keeping their coffee at an unreasonably hot level, and I can't remember what it was. It was something that saved them money somehow. And they had actually been sued for it before and had somehow come to the conclusion that keeping the coffee at a more reason, it was like 220 degrees is what they were keeping it at, and it was put like 170 is what it's like a normal fucking coffee cup is supposed to be. And McDonald's had made the calculations. They had it in like their fucking corporate papers that they'd made the calculations that it was better to just pay out claims and shit if they got sued than to lower the temperature of their coffee for the safety of their customers. And our news media made it seem like she was just a bumbling fool that spilled coffee on herself and then sued McDonald's for her ignorance. And that's not at all what happened. And I want to say there was something to do with their lids as well, and the way their lids were constructed, which also played into it because she didn't have a cup holder in her car, because this was like 90, 91. Not all cars had cup holders at the time, and she put it between her legs, and it ended up spilling out. And once it like third-degree burns on her genitals, she had to have hundreds of thousands of dollars of reconstructive surgery. Just an insane story, but once you learn the facts, everybody's opinion of it changes. But that's how strong the propaganda was about the case. It's the same thing with Dr. Kevorkian. Scorched her coochie lips right off. Wild indeed. Peeble, welcome in, my friend. We are about 2 minutes away from 420 on the East Coast if you'd like to join me. DJ Dub, I might have got claimed. The company that claimed the song before might have claimed your AI fucked up version of it, but I don't know for sure because I didn't get a chance to look and see exactly what was getting claimed. Maybe from yesterday. That's the first time it's happened. We've been doing it for what, weeks now? 3-4 weeks. So I'll have to check it out and I'll let you know. Also, I was wanting to talk to you about something. We got 1 minute until 420 on the East Coast. I looked into view botting. And I'm going to be open with you guys. Like, I don't want to view bot my stream in order to make it look like I got all kinds of viewers. No. I want to use some sort of view bot in order to like manipulate YouTube in order to just suggest me to people. That's all I want. I don't want to make it look like I got thousands of people watching me. I want real people in my fucking chat. I just want to like manipulate YouTube into showing my shit to people. And apparently something that does that is like if my name gets searched in the search bar. Could you make something for me that just searches my name over and over and over and over again? My lord, that is time consuming. Holy shit, that's time consuming. If you'd like to join me for 420 on the East Coast, light one up, tip one back. Happy 420, fuckers. See, that's what I was wondering. Can they see because like, I'll do it for myself, right? I'll go to a different account and I'll just type in JustinFREAKIN and hit the search over and over and over again. But I can't imagine that they know it's the same person doing it. And when I looked into viewbots, I just found out that basically a viewbot's just a thing that opens a bunch of browsers. Like I can do that myself. It just opens a bunch of browsers on your computer. It like opens like 1,000 tabs. To add like 1,000 viewers to your count. Oh my god, they are already proposing a ban on VPNs. We are heading towards a dystopian. We are already there. It is already a dystopian digital world. Exactly, my lord. I can't open 1,000 tabs while I have OBS running. You have to have like another computer It's just insane. I want to ban VPNs. Add these to your bio. What do you mean? Add what to my bio? Also, what in the world did you say? What is Ecosia? Some new search engine? Is it built off of Google? I could see them banning science and math. Fair enough. Huh. They make money from ads and then use that money to save the planet. Well, Lord brings up a good point. The Scopes monkey trial, which was held not far from where I went to college in Tennessee. Yesterday we covered the plane crash that happened in LaGuardia that shut the airport down for most of the day. Today, NTSB officials are giving us an update on exactly what happened, and the details are gruesome. So, content warning on that one.
Piece over to Doug Brazy.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. The airplane was equipped with an Akron Aviation Model Survivor 2.5 cockpit voice recorder and an Akron Aviation Model FA2100 flight data recorder. The cockpit voice recorder contained more than 25 hours of good quality audio across 4 separate channels. The flight data recorder contained approximately 80 hours of data and recorded more than 400 parameters. The NTSB will convene a cockpit voice recorder group scheduled for tomorrow at the NTSB headquarters in Washington, D.C. to review the accident flight recording and produce a written transcript. The following is a summary of events captured on the cockpit voice recorder during the final 3
This is like the final 3 minutes of what happened.
minutes of the recording. All times are referenced to the end of the CVR recording. 3 minutes and 7 seconds prior to the end of the recording, the approach controller instructed the airplane to contact LaGuardia Tower. At 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the flight crew lowered the landing gear. At 2 minutes and 22 seconds, the flight crew checked in with the LaGuardia Tower. At 2 minutes and 17 seconds, the LaGuardia Tower cleared the airplane to land on runway 4 and advised that they were number 2 for landing. At time 1 minute and 52 seconds, the flight crew set the flaps to 30 degrees. At 1 minute and 33 seconds, the flight crew set the flaps to 45 degrees. At 1 minute and 26 seconds, an electronic 1,000 call-out occurred from the enhanced ground proximity warning system, indicating that the airplane was 1,000 feet above the ground. At 1 minute and 12 seconds, the flight crew confirmed that the landing checklist was complete. At 1 minute and 3 seconds, an airport vehicle made a radio transmission to the tower, but that transmission was stepped on by another radio transmission, and the source of who made that transmission has yet to be identified. At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 40 seconds, the LaGuardia Tower asked which vehicle needed to cross a runway. At 28 seconds, Truck 1 made a radio transmission to the tower. At 26 seconds, the tower acknowledged that radio transmission At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 19 seconds, an electronic 100 enhanced ground proximity warning system callout occurred. At 17 seconds, Truck 1 read back the runway crossing clearance. At 14 seconds, an electronic 50 callout. At 12 seconds, an electronic 30 callout. And at that same time, the tower instructed a Frontier Airlines flight to hold position. At 11 seconds, an electronic 20 callout occurred. And at 10 seconds, an electronic 10 callout occurred. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 8 seconds, there was a sound consistent with the airplane's landing gear touching down on the runway. At 6 seconds, there was a pilot transfer of...
So the air traffic controller told the fire truck that he was good to go, but then corrected himself, but just didn't correct himself fast enough. It was like told the truck to stop.
Controls from one pilot to the other. And at 4 seconds, the tower again instructed Truck 1 to stop. At
Yeah, we actually heard that communication, and he's like, stop. But I mean, it's too late at that time.
0 seconds, the recording ended. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Flo. I was really getting into it, too. Did you see how expressive my eyes were? One of the flight attendants was thrown 300 feet from the plane and miraculously survived.
Now to the search for answers in Sunday night's deadly collision between a passenger plane and a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport. The NTSB has recovered the plane's black boxes and is now focusing on air traffic control. ABC's Gio Benitez has the latest from LaGuardia.
This morning, surveillance footage posted on X shows the moment an Air Canada Express jet slammed into a fire truck as it crossed the runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport.
Stop, Truck 1. Stop. Stop, Truck 1. Stop.
The collision
it was just too late.
And co-pilot dead, and
so they had told him to go at like 17 seconds before the crash. And then at 10 seconds, he's like, stop. Realize their mistake.
Dozens of others injured. The FAA and NTSB are now investigating. The black box is already being analyzed at a lab in Washington, D.C.
Or no, I think it said at 17 seconds is when he read the response back, that he was reading it back to them, that he was clear to cover.
Officials say a Port Authority fire truck was
go across the runway.
A separate incident around 11:40 p.m. and was given permission to cross the runway.
Truck 1 Company, cross 4 Delta.
It was at that moment when Air Canada Express Flight 8646 from Montreal was descending onto that same runway, the impact mangling the cockpit.
If you collide with vehicle, just hold position. I know you can't move.
Preliminary data from Flight Radar 24 shows the plane was traveling between 93 and 105 miles an hour at the moment of impact. Passengers describing what it was like on board.
The sounds were people frantic, screaming, and it felt like we were just gliding down the tarmac.
A couple seconds after he used the brake, you heard the loud boom. Everyone jumped forward in their seats, and then there were a couple seconds of silence where I think everyone thought like this is it for us.
The scope of the damage visible from the runway as survivors can be seen climbing down off the wings. And in this short selfie video taken by passenger Jack Cabot, you can see the moment the nose of the plane tipped upward. Watch again closely as the passengers move to the rear of the cabin to escape. A flight attendant was reportedly hurled from the plane, still fastened in her seat, but thankfully survived. Her daughter telling the Canadian outlet TVA Nouvelle, it's a complete miracle. At the moment of impact, her seat was ejected more than 300 feet from the plane. Investigators now trying to determine what went wrong. The air traffic controller heard telling a Frontier pilot who witnessed the collision that he messed up.
We were dealing with an emergency earlier. Nothing. No, man, you did the best you could.
One of the young pilots killed, Antoine Forrest, identified by Family Online. His brother writing, "You've again left in a whirlwind too soon to say goodbye. I love you, brother. You can leave with your head held high." So this airport has reopened, but it's a little slower than usual because only one runway is operational right now, and that's going to be the case until Friday.
Wow.
Gio Benitez, ABC News at LaGuardia Airport here in New York.
I hope it's not used against them in some sort of civil case or for retaliation. I don't know if you want that, but I don't know what the protocol is. Do you continue to be an air traffic controller after you've had a fatal accident? Yeah, insurance absolutely will. The flight attendant didn't even request permission for takeoff. Oh my God. You guys have been coming in with some bangers today. Sports cards, good afternoon, my friend. Bogos. T-. How are you, my friend? What state are you in today? Are you in Cali? Up in the Pacific Northwest. Not a good time to be down in the Gulf. We had a refinery explosion late last night into the morning. No, it wasn't even nighttime.
Camera capturing the impact of tonight's explosion and fire at the Valero refinery in Port Arthur. The blast shaking buildings and homes and rattling the nerves of many nearby residents tonight while sending a huge plume of black smoke into the air. Jefferson County Sheriff Zena Stevens telling KFDM the fire was in a heater unit. No official word on what chemicals are being released into the air. Those living in the west side of Port Arthur, Sabine Pass, and Pleasure Island have been told to shelter in place tonight. Highway 82 and 87 coming into Port Arthur are closed at the moment. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight for KFDM 6 News at 10. I'm Kimberly Roosley. Aaron will join us in just a moment as we have team coverage of the explosion. Many of you capturing the smoke and fire on your phones, a dangerous combination from the blast reported around 6:30 tonight. That explosion made very clear for those who live nearby, whether you're in a mile or further. And you can see the thick plume of smoke from miles away as the sun sets right here from one of our viewers who lives a little bit further out. And right now, Valero confirming details with KFDM. Public Affairs Manager Carol Hebert telling us all personnel have been accounted for. Valero's emergency response team.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about your personnel.
Coordinating with local authorities. She adds, as a precaution, Jefferson County officials have closed state highways 82 and 87. As always, the safety of our workers is our top priority. And at this hour, you're looking at the skyline there in Port Arthur. The flare is lighting up the sky, and that fire is out in the unit where the fire started. But again, that flaring is visible tonight.
Oh, man.
Oh, what in the world?
Trying to get an update.
I felt the shockwave.
This group was miles away on the Port Arthur seawall and felt the ground shake. Thick black smoke rising high into the sky after the plant blast, the troubling sign seen for miles.
Shelter in place was just lifted within the last hour. The fire out within the last hour.
With handheld and mobile air monitors, and they're going to share updates on what is being released into the air. One viewer said they felt a very strong sensation, and then the whole car moved as they drove by the Valero refinery. KFDM on air for nearly an hour, bringing you the live breaking news here on Channel 6, with eyewitnesses providing a real-time update on the explosive emergency unfolding before their eyes. You could see the towering inferno from miles away, and up close, this was intense. Some neighbors telling us things were falling off their shelves. KFDM's Trace Sanchez will bring us those dramatic accounts in just a moment. But first, KFDM's Amon Abraham starts our live team coverage tonight from Port Arthur. Amon?
PWC, welcome in. And I would love to know why you would think it would be probably arson. Not like civilians can get into these refineries easily.
Aaron, I'm just across the street from Valero off of MLK Drive. You can take a look behind me. As you can see, the flares are still going as a security measure, but it appears the fire has been out. We're going to roll some videotape from earlier that we shot from the explosion at the Valero refinery in Port Arthur, sending flames and thick black smoke into the sky this afternoon. First responders rushed to the scene as officials issued a shelter-in-place order for residents on the west side of the city, including Sabine Pass and Pleasure Island. Authorities say the blast likely involved an industrial heater unit, with some residents reporting their homes shook miles away. Despite the intensity of the explosion, officials confirm no injuries have been reported at this time. First responders are still on scene. As you can take a look behind me as well, you can see that they did put up a border just to block off to make sure people are safe, and they're also encouraging residents to stay inside.
Oh my God, dude! Turn off the right-wing propaganda, please.
Aaron, back to you.
All right, Amon, thank you very much.
And our Trace Sanchez is getting first-hand accounts from neighbors on what they saw and heard at the time of the explosion.
Yes, I met with a Port Arthur resident who says they were in their backyard when they saw and heard the explosion right at the chemical plant not far from their home.
I was in my kitchen writing out my bills, and all of a sudden I heard a big boom. And
TWC, my friend. Crime has been at historic lows for years now. Please turn off right-wing media, my friend. Like, look it up. The crime rates were like out of this world in the 70s, and they have plummeted. The entire time I've been alive, the crime rate has plummeted. And there's a few different reasons why. A lot of it has to do with lead. We took lead out of gasoline. We took lead out of paint. We've got a lot of people that are not being exposed to lead at the rates that they were when the boomers were growing up. I think a lot of boomers are lead poison statistics. Another big contributing factor in why the crime rates would have gone down is abortion. Children that would have grown up in the 90s and gone on, unwanted children that are not growing up in the best circumstances, might be in the foster system, might be born to a mother that is in a bad economic situation, so they live in a bad part of town, they get a worse education. All these factors compound. So when abortion was legalized and women were able to go and terminate pregnancies, we had a whole generation of unwanted children that were never born and didn't grow up to commit crime. those two things probably played, 20, 30%. And then another huge factor for why we've had a drop in crime is we are a fascist goddamn nation. And we lock anybody up for any reason we can. It's the prison industrial complex is a money-making scheme in order to funnel taxpayer dollars. Look up how much it costs to keep a person locked up in a prison as opposed to how much it costs for somebody to be housed. We spend more to lock people up than it would cost to just give them the money and put them in housing. Yes and no, DJ Dub. I would think that a lot of people that would go on to commit a really violent crime have probably committed lesser crimes and got a harsh punishment before they were able to go on and commit a much worse crime, right? Since we live in somebody that, had some mental health issues and might have gone on to commit a murder, got locked up for some stupid shit they did with drugs years beforehand. And since we just lock up people, we have 20-something% of the world's prison population. We have 4% of the population and 20% of the world's prison population, not per capita. We very small in size in terms of a country. China, which right-wingers constantly tell me is a dictatorship, is authoritarian, has way less people in jail than we do. Even they've got how many 2 billion, 3 billion people? Between 2 and 3 billion people? We have more raw number people in jail at a population of 370 million? Man in jail for protesting city council meeting for 6 months. It's insane. DeJones, welcome in. Clinically, my friend. Torchy. Big Ben. TWC, I hope you didn't run away on me. I hope you took it to heart. I saw an opportunity to be able to lay some truth on you. And I hope you internalized it, took it in.
House shook, and I hurried and got up from the table and came to the door and walked outside, and I saw this black smoke back behind me, and I walked to the end of the driveway, and that's when I seen everything. So we really didn't know what to do because my neighbors, just like I said, my neighbors came out and met me.
Yes, ma'am. Did your house shake at all? I know.
Yes, it did. It did. Not just the house, the whole ground.
We're going to continue to speak with more residents out here, getting their firsthand response and reaction from exactly what happened at the plant, and talking to some residents about maybe if there were damages to their home and just what they heard. Reporting live in Port Arthur, I'm Trey Sanchez, Aaron Kimberly.
Oh, Cicero, I'm so sorry.
All right, and Trey, thank you for that report.
Good afternoon, Cicero. Now that you're here, we should totally get high. Though I should probably conserve. I was gonna send Curious, or she was gonna go to I wasn't gonna send her. That sounds like it was. No, we were talking about if she was gonna pick me up and we were gonna go to the weed store, and then I had 3 auto drafts come out of my account. And I'm like, well, never mind. I'll have to wait a day or two to get us some weed. Oh, thank you, Big Ben. Yeah, clinically, I smoked the shit out of yours. I can't believe I went through all that. I had just went to the weed store and bought myself a half ounce, which I smoke with Curious too. But she had bought a half ounce. I had bought a half ounce. Clinically sent me every bit at a quarter. A fat quarter. I smoked the shit out of that. We're closing up to Crix. I live with her. Well, I'm staying with her right now. She's literally in the next room. Not right now. She's at work. But we've always been like that too. Like, oh no, clinically. Oh no, he sent me a package. Motherfucker knows how to send weed through the mail. I have never seen anything wrapped up that good. Now, I did accuse him of being a Fed and trying to bait me. Torchy, one day. I've thought about yeah, I love that about you. I do, clinically. Oh, but one day I've thought about like buying myself an RV and just being nomadic and going wherever the fuck I want, because what's stopping me? You know, as long as the kiddies are, and the kiddies are getting old, right? Maynard's the youngest one. He's 7, 8. He's 6, 7. I got him in 2019. He was about a year and a half. So what would that make him? About 6, 7? I think they would like an RV better than some of the other apartments that we've had. The only problem is like I work for myself. I need constant internet. I need reliable internet, and that's just not feasible if you're in like an RV. I don't think Starlink is good enough. I have no idea. A COVID kitty. I got him right before COVID. It was September of 2019. I think it was September. I'd have to ask Curious, or she probably would know. She would like have memories on Facebook when she brought him down. You guys want to see Maynard, don't you? Did someone order a box of kitty? Talk to him, buddy. He's a little upset with my antics. Oh, he absolutely fits. He fits perfectly in that box. He will ball up in his entire body in the box perfectly. But he also likes to lay with his head hanging out. Lights a cig. When did you see me? I haven't smoked in years. I lit a bowl. I'm sorry, Cicero. No, I haven't smoked. God, I was trying to quit when I was with Curiouser, so that was 2015. The entire time I was with her, I was trying to quit. I was good, like when I wouldn't be around her, I wouldn't smoke. And then like we wouldn't be together, I'd like, you know, be around one of my musician friends or something, be like, hey, let me bum a cigarette off of you. Yeah, we got my little bowl. Then in 2017, I went to see Louis C.K. And I'm driving back from the show. I had a beer at the arena, and I'm driving back from the... And, you know, it was one of those big old fucking beers at the arena. And I'm driving back from the show. It's, you know, midnight or something. I'm driving from Nashville back to Huntsville, Alabama. I stop and get a cigar. And I'm puffing on that cigar just... And, like... I might have not even smoked in a month or more. It had been pretty well, but I'm like, oh, I've been drinking. Let me stop and get it. I want a cigar. I taste it in my mouth and everything. So I'm like puffing on that cigar like, I'm smoking every day still. Because I smoke weed every day. I'm constantly smoking, so that probably plays into it as well. So I just grab that cigar, go to fucking town on it, and barf my fucking guts out. And from then on out, like, I do not have any desire to have a cigarette. They do not know the cause yet, sports cards. They do not know the cause. I looked at the update. It is contained now. Have it under control. The fire is out. They do not know the cause yet. Oh, it's like, what is on my desk? Is that cookie crumbles or something? Like, no, it was like there's a scratching pad inside that box, and it was a piece of that cardboard scratching pad. I wish I could enjoy a cigar, but ever since that night when I saw Louis C.K. and barf my guts, like, I can't. Like, even the smell of smoke just turns my stomach. Anyway, I've rambled, I'm sorry. The first thing I thought when I saw that refinery on fire last night was, uh-oh. Did Iran send a drone down to Texas? I wouldn't put it past them, but it doesn't look like that was the issue. Iran has confirmed it is receiving messages from the United States in an attempt to work out some sort of a deal.
We have learned Iranian officials confirmed the U.S. sent Iran a message. They did it through mediators in a push to make a deal to end the war. So yesterday, Iran denied talks with the United States after President Trump said Iran is talking to them at the negotiating table. So let's go live to CBS News national security contributor Sam Vinogradov. Okay, so Sam, you worked on the very early days of the Iran nuclear deal. It's why I'm always so honored to talk to you because of that insider knowledge. How do you read the revelations today about some communications, even if it is through a mediator?
I don't find any of these revelations surprising. Typically, U.S. administrations will pursue various lines of effort: military, economic sanctions, covert action, and of course, diplomacy to try to find an off-ramp to the violence. Certainly, working through mediators has benefits because the U.S. is probably not viewed as overly trustworthy or credible. And by talking directly to Iranian officials right now, the U.S. could give them, for example, false legitimacy. I'm waiting to see confirmed who the mediators are, and further, who the Iranian
the U.S. could
side of the proverbial phone.
Give them false
right
legitimacy.
Now, of course,
God
the intelligence
damn.
community and their worldwide threat assessment did assess that the regime is intact. It's degraded, but it's intact. But there are a lot of different people vying for power, and it's currently unclear whether whomever is negotiating on the Iranian side actually has credibility, not just with the United States, but within Iran to actually negotiate with legitimacy.
I think you make a fascinating point that you, like myself, are waiting to see who the mediators are. Are there any mediators or mediator bodies that you would think could help bring a resolution here? I'm thinking Qatar, I'm thinking Egypt. Give us a sense of the importance of the identity and the presence of those mediators.
Well, the important thing is that the mediator is viewed as really a neutral party. Neither side wants to think that the mediator has any kind of loyalty to one negotiating party over the other. Historically, the government of Oman has played a critical role in mediating between the United States and Iran. That was critical in the original Iran deal, and Iran was serving as a mediator in the last round of nuclear negotiations that were blown up, pun intended, when Operation Epic Fury started. So we may not see an Omani government that views the United States as a trustworthy interlocutor in light of what happened the last time around. Certainly, Turkey, Egypt, and potentially Pakistan have been publicly reported as playing a role in trying to find an off-ramp to give momentum to diplomacy. So I would imagine.
I think that Jones was being sarcastic. I hope.
Mediate, while others reportedly have been pushing President Trump to continue the conflict.
Sam, I'd love to ask you when we could see a deal. I think there are so many people who are paying at the pump and also seeing the sacrifice of American lives. But I think we probably need, you may agree, to get more granular here. What are the red lines? What are the sticking points, do you think?
Well, I will remind folks that the actual Iran nuclear deal, the publicly acknowledged part, took almost 2 years to negotiate.
Wow.
I think what folks are probably most focused on right now is some kind of ceasefire, a stop to what we call kinetic military operations, conventional military operations, and some kind of agreement for ships and tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. So the question is really whether either or both sides are willing to negotiate on the smaller points. And I don't want to minimize how big they are, but rather than negotiate on the nuclear program, missiles, the Strait of Hormuz, support for terrorism, whether both sides are willing to say, let's just focus on the Strait of Hormuz right now, or let's just focus on the nuclear program to try to build credibility with one another. And I will say that even once the strait reopens and tankers can start moving through, it's going to take time for us to see relief at the pump, just because of the weeks of diminished supply that we've had on market.
You know, normally, under any other circumstance, you would think that the nuclear concern, if we're going to take this one bite at a time, would be the thing that would sort of lead those discussions.
Light one up, tip one back, fuckers.
We watch the market reaction to what's going on or isn't going on the Strait of Hormuz. Do you get a sense that that will bump that up in priority even above nuclear?
I think President Trump has been very focused on the nuclear file, that you will
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
recall that he criticized the Obama administration for only getting an agreement on the nuclear file. But then he was negotiating with the Iranians right up until Operation Epic Fury started on the nuclear file. So I would imagine that there could be both the nuclear program being discussed if negotiators...
Is she a commie or a grunt in the military?
We'll see any kind of ceasefire agreement, let alone an agreement on the nuclear file, if we don't have some sort of procedure in place to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And it's important to note, Reed, the Iranian officials know that President Trump is under significant economic and political pressure because the strait is closed and because of the economic impact it's having in the United States. So they'll certainly try to use that as a bargaining chip.
All right. I know we took more time and asked you more questions than we planned on, but I always love to talk to you and get your thoughts and your perspectives. They're so valuable. Sam Vinograd, thank you so much.
I missed her credentials. I assume she's some sort of intelligence analyst, isn't she? I didn't mean like that scene that comes off as misogynist. I was degrading her for being in the military. But like it comes off like I would totally flaunt and acknowledge somebody else's credentials. So that seems misogynist of me to not acknowledge hers. Sam Vinograd, national security contributor. I don't know what her credentials are beyond that. She probably wrote a book. If I had to guess, she probably wrote a book. So Iran apparently is worried, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal, that these signals that the United States are sending about talks are just a setup in order to assassinate one of them. Iranian officials fear that the U.S. ceasefire talks are a trap, an attempt to lure the regime's last surviving leaders into an ambush where they can be assassinated. Israel's done that before. The U.S. has done that before. So they have every right to think that might happen. Leaders in Tehran worry that any face-to-face negotiations with the U.S. and Israel to end the war would be a ruse to draw out Iran's parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibar, according to the Wall Street Journal. Ghaliboff, a former parliamentary commander, goddamn, I'm mixing some words up here. Paramilitary commander and one of the few senior Iranian leaders to escape the airstrikes, is wanted by the U.S. to take part in any peace discussions. Officials in Iran also claim that President Trump's announced postponement of strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure is just an attempt to bring oil prices under control before resuming strikes. Iranian officials and their Arab counterparts who speak with them told the Journal. I mean, they have every right to believe that. The Israeli says they're scared. They're getting bombed in Tel Aviv. Since October 7th, 2023, they have been absolutely bombing the shit out of what? No less than 4 countries? 3 countries and the Gaza Strip. And now that they're getting hit, they're afraid. If the United States thought there was any chance that Iran had done something to one of our refineries, we wouldn't hear the end of it.
And then we just heard such a big boom. My ears was hurt, and then the whole shelter was shaking. And very big fire, and it was very, very. We all scared, and we all afraid. We are living in Tel Aviv, but it's very, very scary to live here. All the situation, it's not for the big people are okay, but children feels like they are living in a period of history, and it's really, really not nice to live like this. But this is the situation in Israel. It's the second time we have a sprinter in my garden. It's like my house like a sprinter. The first time it was big like this. No, big like this. Never mind like this. Okay. But anyway, we are very afraid now.
I think they were talking about the Netanyahu government. The big people.
We were in the safe room when the strike happened. So the apartment is all the windows.
Big man, I would like to believe that, but unfortunately polling out of Israel shows that the majority of the population is really bloodthirsty and thinks that the Arab population is not human. It seems that the majority of the Israeli population thinks like sexually assaulting a Palestinian that was wrongfully arrested is perfectly fine. I hate to be like that and paint an entire society, but the polling is pretty fucking clear.
Blew up.
Like, it is overwhelming. I think a smoke alarm battery is
part
dead.
Part of the wooden doors.
Warlord, thank you for the resub.
Actually, now
I can't take the beeping anymore. I gotta turn it off. I'm sorry. I hooked up with this girl one time when I was in Alabama, and she was a webcam girl, and I can't kitty something or other, something about big fucking titties, because she had big fucking titties. And I go over to her house, and she she goes to buy me weed, and this is like the last time I've ever had like fucking brick weed in my life, and I hadn't had brick weed for years until she bought it for me. Because I go in there and I've got like fucking $100 or something to buy, like, you know, a quarter, an ounce or a half ounce or something of like good shit, and like she brings me like a fucking ounce for $50 or some shit. It is dirt. It's dirt. It's dirt weed. And I'm like, well, you know, this takes me back to my high school days. This is like 2016. I ain't seen weed like this in years. But I'm in her house and her smoke alarm, the battery is going off. And I'm like, do you need to replace the battery in your smoke alarm? And she's like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, I'll take you to the store and get you a 9-volt. Did I say she was black? She was indeed black. And yeah, I've seen the meme too. And I'm like, I will take you and get, and she was like insistent, and I'm like, I will buy you a 9-volt. That is annoying. I'll replace it for you. No idea. I don't know why that's a thing, but yeah, apparently in the black community, that's a thing. Okay. This is so wrong of me. I hooked up with this woman once. Well, I mean, if I'll buy you a fucking 9-volt, I'm there with like $100 to buy weed. I don't give it. And she bought me like a fucking ounce for $50. Like, I will go take some of the money I've got left over and buy you a 9-volt. So I hooked up with this woman one time, and I got invited to the barbecue. And like, I'm out back with the dudes and shit, and they're like barbecuing, they're playing basketball and shit. It's really fucking cool, like fucking hanging out. And her and the girls go in, and they're sitting around the table. And I kind of, you know, I go in with her. He's like, you know, I'm like really in pussy mode. I'm filling up on her and everything. They're sitting around the table, and they got a bottle of something they're passing around. We've got a fucking blunt going and shit, and they're playing cards. And the drunker they got, there was something that I noticed as a white boy with like 4 black women. I'm the only white person there. The cadence and the way that they talk to each other. Like, you know, we what we call ebonics, right? It is almost like it's almost like an African drum and beat thing, like a spoken word poetry. And they have like a whole other language. And it was fascinating to watch. As they just got drunker and drunker and were like riffing off of each other and ripping on each other and shit. It was wild. Really cool. It was really cool to watch. But like, got to a point where I couldn't really understand what they were saying. Yeah. I got invited to the barbecue. And I'm not saying that like I have cred or anything, because I'm pretty sure all the dudes there were like, why is this white boy here? I'm pretty sure everyone other than the specific woman that I was there with did not want me there. I got invited to the barbs. I'm sorry. I do not have the lingo correct. I did bring weed. And I think my weed was better than theirs. So I think that did win me some points. I was there to talk to the police. I ain't talking to no fucking cops. I ain't no narc. Somebody gonna come out and narc on this motherfucker that did some insider trading on Trump's announcement about Iran. There's some bullshit going on.
And I want to stress the difference between reality, speculation, and perception. This is about speculation and perception. A lot of speculation at the moment in this market. There's some people have an edge that others don't. They have an inside line on what's going to happen, and other people don't know. That there will be statements coming out that they're not aware of. And when you get to that position, I wonder if we have a reduction right now in trust, and that there is a lot of speculation that we are at least perceiving that some people have an edge that we don't. And I want to understand whether that leads to a reduction in liquidity in this market. Because if I'm a financial market participant at the moment, and I begin to believe that someone might have an edge that I don't, do I really want to take risk in that kind of market? Do I really want to step in and put my money to work?
Right. Well, certainly you're alluding to what transpired yesterday, just prior to the president's announcement, which was, I would argue, very unfortunate, and certainly didn't instill trust in myself or the
unfortunate.
If it were some sort of communication that occurred within the administration.
There was no leak in the media before Trump's announcement. No, and that's so unusual. So there was literally a meeting, and there were a handful of people in the room, and one of them placed a $1.5 billion bet.
And prior to the president's announcement that there's going to be a 5-day hiatus, we saw significant selling of crude futures just before that announcement, just before we saw crude prices falter. We saw a significant purchase of S&P futures on the upside, with the idea that the market was going to blow off top in a positive way. That was an embarrassing moment, potentially, if in fact, as an American, if in fact that was something that could have been avoided. Perhaps, however, there was a communication had across our allies, and perhaps some of these actions occurred from participants in the Middle East rather than within the administration. So I want to be super cautious about pointing fingers at anyone on that front, but it was highly suspicious.
I feel like highly suspicious is a real understatement there. Senate Majority Leader John Thune unveiling his new plan to bring the partial shutdown to an end. When is this criminality going to come to an end?
Shamefully, we are on day 39 of the Democrat shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. It is increasingly having effects across.
Fucking Tom Cotton, James Langford, Barrasso. My God, this is like a thieves' row here.
The country, as our airports and the TSA.
Is this what's her name, Capito or whatever?
It is time to end this. Time to end this is now. The Democrats have in front of them a proposal with legislative text that would allow us to get DHS back and opened up again. And it is essentially what the Democrats have been asking for. And so we're going to have an opportunity to vote on that, and I hope they will put their money where their mouth is.
Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia.
Up again. that they'll provide the votes and work with us in order to make that happen. On the other issue, the Save America Act now has been on the floor for some time, and it is an issue on which, as we pointed out before, there is overwhelming public support among and across all kinds of demographic groups, age, political party, gender, you name it. Democrat, Republican, overwhelming support for the Save America Act. The Democrats...
No. What he's doing right there is conflating two things. Polling shows that Americans overwhelmingly are in favor of showing ID when voting. The SAVE Act goes far further than that.
I said out here last week that they support voter ID. Well, we're going to give them an opportunity to evidence that by putting it up for a vote. Later I'll be filing an amendment that would require photo ID, and we'll see what the Democrats do. What happened last week, as you all know, Senator Husted from Ohio offered a very straightforward voter ID amendment, which was blocked on the floor by the Democrats, and furthermore, it wasn't just blocked, it was actually the Democrat, Senator Merkley from Oregon, offered a counter proposal that specifically would ban voter ID across this country, and actually something that 36 states already have in place. So this is an issue on which there is broad agreement with the public, and obviously...
Yeah, but the Constitution says it's up to each individual state to administer their elections, does it not?
One particular issue, and that is whether or not people ought to have to show some form of identification when they go to vote. So that's the schedule for the balance of this week, and hopefully we'll have cooperation from Democrats to end the...
And this is apparently... This is apparently Trump's #1 priority right now, is to pass the SAVE Act, and he has told senators that they need to stay through Easter if necessary, and that they can have Easter dinner at the White House with Trump. The reports say that the senators took that as a threat, not as like a friendly invitation.
Leader, good afternoon, thank you. Don't you risk alienating some of your base if you're unable to pass the Save America Act and the idea that this could go into budget reconciliation, that everybody around here, including you, has indicated that that's very hard to do? Isn't that just kind of a wing and a prayer?
I think the budget reconciliation, as I've said before, you have to have a reason to do it. And if we have reasons to do it...
So that is what the Republicans came to an agreement that they would agree with the Democrats to fund all of DHS except ICE. And that the Republicans would just go on and pass a reconciliation bill. They don't need any Democratic votes to pass it. They only need 50 votes. They attach the ICE funding to it. Problem solved. The Democrats don't even get their removal of face masks and identification of agents and shit. So the Republicans agreed to it. The Democrats agreed to it. Trump said no. Trump said no. I don't know what the game plan is here.
And we may, very well may. And I think there are a number of our colleagues in the Senate. We just came out of a luncheon where this was discussed, and I think there's a lot of support for a budget reconciliation bill. We have 2 legislative vehicles, as you know, available to us, so we could tee one of those up, and that's an option. And we'll see if that's what it takes to get some of these things across the finish line. And we can do it with simple majorities. We'll take a hard look at that.
Did you overpromise your base, though? If you do pursue reconciliation to pass elements of the SAVE Act, do you commit to abiding by the Parliament?
Thelonious, welcome in. It's wild that you should mention all gas, no brakes. I just watched the Surf's video on Andrew Callahan, which was excellent. Highly recommend it. That was the name of his show before 2020 or 2021 or something. All gas, no brakes. Had just watched it before I started getting ready, like when I was having lunch earlier.
Might you overrule her if you disagree?
Well, we had, as you know, many conversations with the parliamentarian during the budget reconciliation bill that passed last summer. And I would expect that. That's an iterative process and a back and forth, sometimes trading back different ideas to see what works. But obviously the parliamentarian has a role to play in that process, and in the past we have respected it, and I would expect we would do that.
Fuck 'em. I washed my hair earlier and it's really fuzzy. My hair is at optimal laying after a couple of days. I went through this with Carrie, like she washes her hair like all the time. And I'm like, mine doesn't even start to lay the way I like it until like it's been 2 or 3 days. And like it feels so weird. It's like crunchy and right now and tangly, and it's poofy and shit, and I don't like it. Well, earlier I'm like, fuck, I don't think I've washed my hair in like a week, and it's like I could tell. I was like, I definitely need to go wash it. But yeah, I don't like it after I just wash it. It feels so weird. I usually go about every 4 days, I'd say, is how often I wash it. I've got the coconut milk, whatever, conditioner, and it works really well. So we now officially have a new DHS secretary. Ooh, Danielle, really? I need a different shampoo? Well, okay. So I use Head and Shoulders because I get bad dandruff. Like I have real bad flakes. And not even just Head and Shoulders, but I'll get like the like it has a name, the medicated shit for bad dandruff. So that's the shampoo I'm using for that reason. And would that also leave me with hair that I don't particularly... I feel that I need to do it for... I've never tried out Selsun Blue. Media Winch. Gorgeous. Welcome in. But Danielle, I would definitely like to hear more. Nope, not yellow and smelly. White and just like really flaky. Sally's. Okay. Oh, and get them to suggest me one. Okay, that's the hair supply store, right? Ah, okay. But yeah, the dry scalp and everything has been... Like, that's why I use that shampoo specifically, and I agree, I do not like the way my hair feels for a day or more after. But it was more for, like, it really does help my flakiness and shit. A moisturizing treatment. Ooh, okay. I have a real bad fucking athlete's foot. I get it real fucking bad. And my grandmother had bought my brother these like really nice house shoes. This is back when I was in college. So 15 fucking years ago. Eczema? Well, I've heard some spinach dip can cure some eczema. My grandmother gets my brother these really nice, like, fluffy inside goddamn house shoes. They're like $100-something. I looked it up because they were like name brand and shit. And my brother like opened the present at Christmas and was just like, And I was like, shit, bro, those are some nice house shoes. I love those. And my grandmother was like, well, if you're not gonna like them, give them to Justin then. Smacked him on the head. So I got those. Yes, they made my feet sweat all the time, and I would wear them without socks. And I did this for like 2 years, and I'm living with Curiouser, and I get the most insane case of athlete's foot that went up my entire goddamn leg from these, like, Curiouser would tell you, it was like a fucking, just like, it infected everything. And ever since then, I just get athlete's foot. Really, I can't get rid of it. Like, I get rid of it, like it's not on me, but like it never goes away completely. Just my feet will sweat one time, boom, there it is again. I gotta spray. I gotta keep antifungal cream. It sucks. Well, see, now I don't wear socks anymore because it's been such an issue. I wear sandals everywhere, and that's kind of pretty much cured it. I am fucking barefoot right now in my dirty ass feet because I walk everywhere barefoot. It's like Curiouser, like, I wouldn't walk through this house barefoot. Because we've got so many fucking cats. And it's an old, dusty house. But I do. My feet are always very dirty. Like a dirty fucking hippie. I am the stereotypical dirty fucking hippie. I'm so sorry, guys. Ah, fuck. This isn't I was going to play the clip of Trump swearing Mark Wayne in. Okay, here we go.
It's a perfect, amazing thing. We make the best military equipment in the world. Now we're going to make it faster. We want to get it faster. But we make the best in the world. We're doing a job. So I'd like to ask Attorney General Bondi to come and do the honors of swearing in a man who's going to do a phenomenal job for our country. And I tell you, your family has to be very proud. You have to be very proud. Everybody wanted this job. He said, there's one man for this job, and I have no doubt he's going to be fantastic. Thank you, Pam. Come on over. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear.
I do solemnly swear.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Mark Wayne Mullen.
He was certainly terrified on January 6th.
Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
And that I will bear true faith.
Yeah, how long do you guys think it will take for him to get thrown under the bus?
Faith to allegiance and do the same.
And that I
No, made it about a year.
freely.
Take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of.
Ooh, Winch says 6 weeks.
And that I will well and faithfully.
And that I will well and faithfully.
I think he's probably gone by summer, the end of summer.
Discharge the duties of the office.
On which I am about to enter.
Which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Makes it to like October.
Thank you. I think that was the most nervous I've ever been.
I can tell, actually.
I don't, it just seems surreal being in the Oval Office and having the President of the United States speak so highly of me and then recognize my family and know my family by name. It's humbling, and I never take it for granted, but I've made this very clear that I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be safe in the homeland and to protect everybody the same, and we will do that. I'll fight every single day. Today, I got the privilege of meeting.
He'll fight anyone every single day.
These employees have been there for 30 days without pay. And if you need anything to know their dedication to show up and still protect the homeland that you and I enjoy and the freedoms that we're experiencing, they're working for free because of political politics. That's all I need to know. I told him, as you're fighting 365 days, understand I'll be fighting 365 days beside you. No one's going to outwork
because of political politics.
I'm not going to let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. So thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I love that expression, no one's going to outwork me. That's a wrestler's expression, isn't it? Huh? That's a good wrestler's expression. Yes, please.
Mr. President, will the Secretary's replacement in the Senate support?
Yet again, I find it relevant to bring up. Donald Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. Our president is a WWE Hall of Famer. Has been stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's the cycle of poo. When one senator leaves and goes to be in DHS, another senator gets appointed. Meet your newest senator. His name is Alan Armstrong. Senator Alan Armstrong.
The chair lays before the Senate the certificate of appointment to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of former Senator Mark Wayne Mullen of Oklahoma. The certificate, the chair is advised, is in the form suggested by the Senate. If there is no objection, the reading of the certificate will be waived and it will be printed in full in the record. If the Senate designate...
I'm pretty sure this guy's running for re-election, guys.
The chair will administer the oath.
He's already announced he's running for re-election. He's like 90.
Bishop, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States?
I am so sorry. I was wrong about his age. I made him out to be younger than what he is. He's 92.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter. So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Also, I was wrong. The 92-year-old did not say he was running for re-election. I apologize. I got that one wrong as well. He just left open the possibility that he's going to run for re-election in 2028. Which would mean if he was re-elected and served his entire term that he would be 100 at the end of his Senate term. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, currently the longest-serving senator in Washington, D.C., is leaving the door open for another re-election bid in 2028. He's turned 92 since this article was written. Speaking to the news media on Tuesday, the 91-year-old Republican told reporters to ask me the question in a couple of years, saying he would consider the same factors he has through several re-elections, and that is family considerations and whether or not he can do the job. Yeah, he turned 92 in September. Has served in the Senate for 44 years. And is only the 6th longest serving senator in U.S. history. That is so fucking sad. You know I'm going to clip that, right? It was absolutely going on YouTube. I want to say term or age limits, but there's also like Bernie Sanders is the best politician we have, and he's fucking what, 87? As a general rule, though, it does seem like we want the old farts out. Ponder Monkey, Park Horse. Who else snuck in here on me? Torchy, I'll tell you good evening. Flow, Sports Cards. Love you guys. Good to see you. Minnesota officials are suing the federal government over Renee Good and Alex Preddy investigations. Minnesota state and county officials sued the federal government on Tuesday, alleging they are being blocked from investigating the shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy and Julio Cesar Sosa Celis by federal agents. In the lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Minnesota, AG Keith Ellison, Hennepin County District Attorney Marty Moriarty, and Bureau of Criminal Apprehension Superintendent Drew Evans alleged that the Justice Department and the Department of Homeland Security have blocked state investigators from accessing the evidence they need in order to investigate the three shootings. The lawsuit names the Justice Department, the Department of Homeland Security, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who presided over the investigation crackdown or the immigration crackdown in Minnesota earlier this year. Spokespeople for the DHS and the Justice Department could not be immediately reached for comment. Good and Preddy were both fatally shot by federal agents employed by DHS earlier this year as part of an immigration operation known as Operation Metro Surge. Sosa Celis was wounded in a shooting by a federal agent during the same operation. Mr. Lenny, good afternoon, my friend. Well, how's the weather in the south of Boston? You did not tell me that today. Is it a pretty day? It is a pretty day here on the East Coast. A little further south. Chucky Boy Schumer was on with... Maybe one of the morning shows on Sunday. The morning show yesterday. Chucky Boy Schumer went on. I got a content warning since it's Morning Joe. Chucky Boy Schumer was asked about if Donald Trump is so unpopular. What does that say about the Democrats, since they are also incredibly unpopular?
The Democrats' approval ratings, they're pretty much the same as the president's. How do you account for that? You're the Democrats' majority leader.
People are upset in general, but I think the people are understanding, as you've seen in almost every by-election that we've had over the last year, that Democrats are fighting for people on costs, the high cost of health.
By-elections only happen, you can only vote when you suck a little dick, eat a little pussy.
Care, the high cost of daycare, the high cost of electricity, the high cost of meat when you go to the grocery store. We're doing that. And so we are fighting them, and people get that.
Brother, I've seen your burgers. I don't want your opinion on fucking meat.
And that's why they're preferring us. The bottom line is, I just have to get back to finish what happens here. So this Musk algorithm kicks you off the rolls. They don't tell you till you show up at the polling place half the time.
When you look at the Democrats' approval ratings, they're pretty...
Boy, he changed the subject from the abysmal approval rating of the Democrats, didn't he? It's almost like it's a testament to how shitty he is as the Senate majority or minority leader. Our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, today was in court to testify against his friend.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio appeared in a Miami courtroom today. Rubio is on the witness list for the trial of former South Florida Congressman David Rivera. Rivera, who at one point was roommates with Rubio, is accused of secretly lobbying for Venezuela's government during the first Trump administration. Prosecutors say Rivera worked on behalf of ousted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and used his political connections to try to ease U.S. pressure on the socialist country of Venezuela. Rivera has denied any wrongdoing. Let's bring in NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch, who's following this one. Jesse, this is a sitting Secretary of State testifying in a federal trial in a courtroom. Why is he there, and how big a deal is this?
Yeah, don't want to say unprecedented, Kate, but it is largely unprecedented. This is something that we have not seen in over 40 years, with a member of a sitting presidential cabinet testifying in a criminal trial. And I was in the courthouse in an overflow room watching, along with several members of the press, as Secretary Rubio took the stand. And I have to say, from the outset, there were certainly indications of this being an unusual situation. The judge made a note to the jury that they are going out of order. Instead of doing cross-examination of a previous witness, they were moving on to Secretary Rubio, in a reference to the fact that they're trying to accommodate his schedule. When he was asked if he's employed, he laughed, or smiled, I should say, and said he has two jobs, referring to being Secretary of State and National Security Advisor to President Trump. So there were moments like that peppered throughout. And I'm just looking back at my notes here as well, at the very end of some of the testimony, when the defense attorney for Rubio's old friend, who's seen in that image there with him.
Is that a Kennedy?
At the very end of some of the testimony, when the defense attorney for Rubio's old friend, who's seen in that image there with him, was done questioning Rubio. Rubio had a copy of his own book at the stand that the lawyer had given him, and Secretary Rubio asked the lawyer if he wanted it back. The judge joked, "Do you want him to autograph it?" And the lawyer actually had him sign that copy of the book, Kate.
All right, Jesse Kirsch for us. Jesse, thanks.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories.
Shut up, Tom Llama.
Or watch live on our YouTube channel.
We want Lester back. How'd I hit the cap locks? Lester is dead to me. I wonder if I can call NBC and place a complaint. Bring Lester back on the end of the YouTube videos. Wonder if I can call Senator Joni Ernst, see if she can help me get Lester back on the end of the YouTube videos. Doot, 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 doot. Oh, did they finally send me the bill? Because the other one wasn't the bill. I should open the bill for my hospital visit the other day. Let people from other countries hear what it was. It would probably shock the shit out of people. She's not done yet, Georgie. She's got a few more months. She's serving out her term. A man has been charged with murder. He supposedly shot people inside of his vehicle. There's just one problem with that story. That man ain't got no hands. He ain't got no legs for that matter. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can prove that the man could shoot a gun.
Quadruple amputee cornhole champion now facing murder.
And he's a cornhole
for
champion.
allegedly shooting and killing someone in his vehicle. The incident happened in Maryland before the alleged shooter then left to Virginia. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cotterobles is in studio with the shocking details on this. Mark?
Yeah, Michelle, good evening.
They're calling him the cornhole killer.
The headline alone is not something you hear every day. The man charged in the deadly shooting is a quadruple amputee who was driving a car as the shooting happened. He is 27-year-old Dayton James Weber, seen here in this mugshot.
The man was driving a car and shot somebody. He has no hands.
He's been in the spotlight before, but for much different reasons. Weber was featured by ESPN a few years ago, highlighting his success as a competitive cornhole champion. Now, after the incident last night, he is a murder suspect accused of fatally shooting a passenger in his car while driving through a small town in Maryland. Local authorities alerted by two witnesses who were passengers in the back seat, revealing a well-known name locally as the suspect.
There's been many news stories done about him, and a lot of people are very familiar with him.
That being said, the prior news stories, all positive.
Yes, yes.
Not only did he allegedly fire the gun, he's also driving the car. What do you know about those circumstances?
With no hands.
Accomplish this.
What I would say...
I can drive my car with no hands. The fuck?
Is that his accomplishments and capabilities have been well documented on the internet. There's a YouTube channel and a lot of stories out there about what he is capable of doing. And we would urge anybody who has questions to just look at his name and look at the videos.
Here are more of those videos. You can beat as a pro in the American Cornhole League. He has been a quadruple amputee since he was a child. At 10 months old, he was given just a 10% chance to live. To save his life and stop a deadly sepsis infection from spreading, doctors amputated both of his arms.
He's doing the worm.
As for the shooting, authorities ultimately found a body dumped in a yard. Weber across state lines in Virginia. He is now facing a first-degree murder charge. Live here in studio, Mark Cotterobles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Mark, back to you.
Well, now you may have questions. He's got no hands. He's got no finger. How the fuck could he pull a trigger while driving? Wouldn't it be wild if there was video of him loading and shooting a gun on the internet?
Let me get your phone. Let me get your phone.
Because honestly, he had the perfect defense. Your Honor, how could I pull the trigger? I ain't got no fucking hands. How you gonna... If that video didn't... If I'm the prosecution, I'm just like... Well, there you have it. Fingerprint. If it was AI, he'd have 6 fingers. Oh, God.
It's not always easy to be a grown-up.
I bet. Truly nothing will stop an American from shooting a gun. But cornhole champion, you ain't got no legs. I got a video I'm getting ready to show you. A man in Melbourne, Florida. Florida man. Oh yeah, Lenny, I totally did that story. I was going to liken it to that. That girl, I think she was in Florida, and the officer literally wrote she had a cell phone in her right hand. She has no right hand. So she could have possibly been holding it. I guess we're ableist for making fun. Oh, you couldn't have a cell phone in your right hand. I guess just because you don't have a right hand doesn't mean you can't hold a cell phone. That's ableist on my part. I mean, Michael, did you not just watch him? Like, he's very apt and capable. Very independent. He's a champion cornhole player and loaded and shot a gun. Pulled the trigger without any fingers. I wouldn't have thought it was possible if I hadn't have seen it myself. This man in Florida is saying that he shot a 19-year-old in self-defense. We have video, and you can make up your own mind.
Murdering a teenager in downtown Melbourne claims additional evidence proves he only opened fire in self-defense.
Stefan DeJuiced was back in court today at the Brevard Justice Center in Vieira. And Channel 9's Sabrina Maggiore was also there, and she reports he even claimed he was the victim of a murder plot.
DeJuice's attorneys argued he was threatened multiple times while in jail and was threatened on the day of the shooting, too. The judge didn't rule on the merits of that argument, but did say any evidence of that and additional surveillance video needed to be preserved. Prosecutors point to this surveillance video as a key piece of evidence in the case against Stefan DeJuiced. He's charged with second-degree murder for shooting 19-year-old Nathaniel Jennings in downtown Melbourne back in May. Investigators say DeJuiced pulled out his handgun and fired 8 times after an altercation outside of downtown bars. We stopped the video before the first shots were fired, but prosecutors say the fight beforehand never got physical and say DeJuiced continued shooting even as Jennings ran away.
Does the victim ever make physical contact with the defendant, Mr. DeJuiced? Does he ever hit him?
He does not.
But the defense argues video from other downtown Melbourne surveillance cameras will help prove DeJuiced shot in self-defense. He told police back in May the victim threatened him and put him in a bear hug.
I'm also going to order that Melbourne PD preserve any video evidence that they may have from the date of the incident.
The defense also claiming friends of the victim were actively plotting to hurt or kill DeJuiced while in jail as an act of retaliation for the shooting. The state attorney's office did tell us DeJuiced was being held in the Volusia County Jail, not the Brevard County Jail, for his own safety. In the meantime, it's now on the defense to go ahead and sort through whatever video might be useful in their self-defense case that's now been preserved. At a later date, the judge would then go ahead and rule whether or not that could be acceptable in a trial. Reporting in Brevard County, I'm Sabrina Maggiore.
I don't know if I believe him. So yeah, the dude with no legs, I'm assuming he had some sort of specialty vehicle, especially since he was like a champion cornholer. Some company probably sponsored a vehicle for him or some shit. He seems like the kind of guy that'd probably have a gun loaded on him at all times. I ain't putting it. It was a Mini Cooper. I ain't putting it past. And he apparently had passengers in the back seat, so he shot somebody in the front seat, and the passengers got out of the back seat. Well, I don't know if he was a chud, but I know this dude's probably a chud. Oh, probably a chud. I'm certain this dude's a chud. He's going to explain to us why he had to beat the shit out of a man wearing handcuffs.
Good evening to you, friends, on this Monday. Thank you for joining us here at 6. I'm Greg Merriweather.
And I'm Elizabeth Vowell. A judge today ordered Louisiana State Police to hand over surveillance videos to the WAFB team that show a trooper slapping a handcuffed inmate.
So we start with the videos, what they show, and exactly why State Police hoped you would never see it and that the video would never make it to our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto. Chris is here. He's got the first of 2 reports. Chris, good evening. What can you tell us?
Good evening, Greg and Liz. The incident landed a state trooper in very hot water 4 years ago, but later on, when Colonel Robert Hodges took over as state police colonel, the trooper's discipline got wiped off his record. And with that, Summit State Police hoped it would also wipe away the public's chance of ever seeing what actually happened. The man in the red shirt, handcuffed in the front of his body, is a suspect who just crashed his car and was arrested for DWI in Avoyelles Parish near Alexandria, Louisiana. Standing in front of him is Master Trooper Matthew Clare, the man who made the arrest. To the right of the trooper is a Sheriff's Department lieutenant who works at the jail. Watch now as Trooper Clare is about to do something that would turn this routine night into a full-fledged state police investigation.
Well, he had me in the jail, and he was mad because I was talking to him, and he just hauled off and slapped me while I was in handcuffs.
In the moments leading up to the
He was just talking, that's all.
The suspect is clearly unhappy, but we cannot hear what he's saying to Trooper Clare since the video.
I said beat the fuck out of the dude. He smacked the fuck out of the dude.
With no sound. When a 5-member state police review board watched the videos, only 2 of the 5 deemed the slap to be excessive force, meaning the final decision rested with Colonel Lamar Davis, who headed up state police at the time. Davis watched the videos and found it was indeed excessive and suspended Trooper Clare for 40 hours without pay. But that discipline was wiped out when Clare appealed, citing that state police had missed a required 14-day window to start their investigation. Then, when Colonel Robert Hodges took over at LSP, Clare had his punishment reduced to a non-disciplinary letter of counseling, along with back pay. Here's Clare in his own words 4 years ago, explaining his use of force during an interview with Internal Affairs.
The purpose of using that force was not only to protect myself or Lieutenant Overby, but to stop the threat.
Clare had handcuffed the man behind his back, but jail staff moved the handcuffs to the front as he was being booked into the Avoyelles Parish Detention Center.
I couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, because when you're in booking, you have to sign shit.
And I was in handcuffs. I couldn't do him nothing.
Trooper Clare told investigators the trouble all started as he and an arrestee were heading to do a breathalyzer, which he later refused to take.
Well, he had become uncooperative during the trip to the jail. Or not to the jail, but to Marshville PD. Okay. He began complaining of his hands, the handcuffs, and it kept on. He made remarks about, well, I don't think you could wear these handcuffs, and he just kept saying he wasn't a criminal.
The Avoyelles deputy who witnessed the slap is Lieutenant Cliff Overby. During his interview with State Police, Overby never said he felt threatened and thought the trooper's actions were justified. He did say, however, he thought using a gas canister would have been a better option. Trooper Clare told investigators he definitely felt threatened, keeping in mind that an inmate handcuffed in the front could have physically attacked him.
And asked him what his correct address was so I could make sure that I had that information correct on the paperwork. And he said, I don't know. He said, put heaven. And he said, that's where I'm going to be, heaven. He said, you're going to be there working my fields. And then a little while later, he said, made comments about you and just the police profession in general. You need to repent. And I didn't take that as he was expecting the next coming of Christ. I took that in a threatening manner.
How is he in danger and I'm in handcuffs in the jailhouse?
He's telling me that I'm gonna regret this. That I need tell me I'm a bad policeman. That
I mean, you are.
he made comments on me being racist. Just really just running me down track.
Oh yeah, you're probably racist.
Just being belligerent. And that's when he threatened that he would whip my and he made threats that when he saw he was going to whip my he had started towards me. And he came at me more aggressively than he had before. And it was more to his stride, and it was just an aggressive stride towards me, and it was just threatening, and it was just a look about him. It was just, I took it as a threat that now he's going to strike me.
We requested an interview with Colonel Robert Hodges about this situation. We did not hear back, but Hodges told the men and women of the department today they believe their trooper was a victim of assault and has a right to privacy. We put his full statement on WAFB.com. As for the suspect,
the trooper was a victim of assault
because of his threatening words. A judge suspended his sentence and placed him on probation. For the WAFBI team, I'm Chris Nakamoto. Liz Gregg.
All right, Chris, thank you.
Words are like weapons. You don't hate the cops enough. You don't hate the cops enough. A Virginia woman was wrongfully jailed for days because the cops mistaked her for a fugitive.
Danielle Brown came here to the Caroline County Sheriff's Office on March 9th because she had just hit a deer and she wanted to get a report that she could give to her insurance. She ended up going to jail for 3 days for a crime she did not commit.
Yeah, it's crazy. Something I feel like you see in the movies, but you don't think actually happens. Yeah.
On March 9th, Danielle Brown innocently walked into the Caroline County Sheriff's Office only to report hitting a deer.
He takes my ID and he runs my name.
When she left, she was in handcuffs, heading to jail, and suddenly being called Julia Bickford.
A few minutes later, he comes back to tell me that he has a warrant for my arrest, which was jaw-dropping, I guess, to say the least, because to my knowledge, there was nothing that I could have a warrant for.
Brown says she was told by a sheriff's deputy who ran her social security number and date of birth that her name came back as an alias for a woman wanted on an arrest warrant out of Chesterfield County. That woman, Julia Bickford.
He said that Julia Bickford was an alias of mine, and that because it was my alias, he had to take me in. But I told him I'd never even heard the name before.
Despite her pushing back, the deputy consulted with the magistrate and they decided to hold her at Pamunkey Regional Jail.
And the magistrate then he was confused and said that he didn't think that it was me, but that I had to go in front of a judge. So they were going to keep me for the night till I could see the judge the next day. The next day came and never saw the judge.
Brown sat in jail under the name Julia Bickford Monday night and Tuesday night. Finally, Wednesday afternoon, Chesterfield arrived and moved her to the Chesterfield jail. The Chesterfield Sheriff's Office told me they identified her as Danielle Brown and not Julia Bickford based on her real ID, DMV photographs, fingerprinting, and FBI identifiers. She was in their facility for less than an hour. They obtained this court order to release her immediately. Brown believes Bickford must have stolen her identity at some point in the past, although the Chesterfield Sheriff's Office told me one cannot automatically infer.
No, I think the cops are just stupid and incompetent.
Her identity was stolen. She wonders how Chesterfield was able to find out so quickly that she was in fact Danielle Brown and not Julia Bickford and release her. But Caroline County and Pamunkey did not, and instead held her in jail from Monday to Wednesday.
Tell people what it was like to be in jail for something that you did not do.
Oh my God, it was horrible. It was jaw-dropping again. Like, I was worried about my job. I was scared that I'd lose my job. mainly.
We asked Pamunkey about why they decided to hold Brown. They told us that although they were made aware of the potential discrepancy, they were obligated to rely on the judicial paperwork presented by the magistrate. Caroline County Sheriff Scott Moser said his office is conducting an internal investigation. He called the episode unfortunate and said he is really sorry this happened. But for Danielle Brown, sorry is not enough.
Do you think somebody should be held accountable?
Yes, ma'am.
The person that
locked me up.
What do you want to see happen?
I mean, really, I don't think he deserves his job. He's definitely not doing a good job at it. So
Definitely.
I'd like to see his badge taken from him.
And then what about Pamunkey?
I don't even. They just need to step up altogether. You know.
Or the magistrate.
All of them. I think all of them need to be held accountable in some way.
In Caroline County, I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.
That poor woman. You don't hate cops enough. I know you're trying, Byronic, but you don't hate them enough. Fire resist, welcome in. Sig Fang. I don't think I told you good afternoon, my friend. Good to see you. You know, I haven't watched the Sarah Silverman show since it was on. That was like 20 years ago. I don't remember that scene. Yeah, she had a real idea and they still didn't believe her.
A scary case of road rage along PCH in Orange County. Caught on camera, two bicyclists nearly run off the road. The cyclists say two drivers were so aggressive they feared for their lives.
KTLA 5's Carlos Aceto is live with more on what happened. Hi, Carlos.
Hi, Carlos.
Hey, Micah and Court. This joyride quickly turned south for two cyclists out here in Orange County. Part of the road rage incident was caught on camera, and tonight those two cyclists, they're speaking out, saying things could have ended so much worse. A Saturday bike ride turned dangerously ugly along PCH and Bayshore Drive in Newport Beach. Dramatic video shows two cyclists being run off the designated bike lane by the driver of a blue BMW. One of the cyclists, fearing for his life, butted off the curb onto the sidewalk to get out of the way.
Just zooms by us, gets the red light, and then as far as I know, like 30 seconds later, he's like inches away from my rear wheel.
Ben Byra and Luke Fetzer are competitive riders and were out training for a race happening the following day. They say the drivers in the BMW and a black and red Corvette got aggressive with them, yelling homophobic slurs for no reason.
We're just riding single file. Ben is behind me, I'm in front of him, and he comes up to us and starts laying on the horn. His buddy yells out the side window.
To get the drivers to back off, Luke says he squirted some water from his bottle towards the cars, and that's when things escalated.
Called us slurs, and me spraying some water on his car was...
Oregon Gal, welcome in.
In the video, which has more than 8 million views on Instagram, we see items being thrown out the window of the BMW towards the riders, including a plastic water bottle, as the car flies past them. Things get even more heated next.
A couple lights down, they've like all got out of their cars trying to like, I don't know, tackle us or hit us. I don't know what their plan was. We're going like 30, 40 miles an hour downhill, so if they did touch us, it wouldn't have been good for anyone.
An incident report was taken by Newport Beach Police, but so far no active investigation is underway. Luke's attorney, who is a cyclist himself, says this is one example of the dangerous roads for riders.
What's scary to us is we've seen a real rise in intentional aggression towards cyclists. The unfortunate thing here is these cyclists were actually where they were supposed to be.
We were in the bike lane, so like, I really don't see what we were doing wrong.
Thankfully, nobody was injured in this road rage incident, but the riders want the drivers to be held.
Flo, what is with the rage against
Reporting live in Winter Park,
bicyclists?
Carlos Salcedo, KTLA 5 News.
Get turned down by somebody that rode a bike? Woman is facing charges in Florida for allegedly damaging her Airbnb with bodily fluids and then posting the videos online, which leads me to ask the question, where can we find these videos online so we can know to avoid them?
There was a young lady inside making money in a very unusual way that damaged somebody else's property. There's a list of items including a television, a record player, a coffee pot, some bedding, some carpeting, I believe, or a rug.
She pissed in a coffee pot. She's in legal hot water after she allegedly treated her Airbnb rentals. Nicolette Coe faces a pair of felony criminal mischief charges. Police said she urinated on furniture and other items in 2 Airbnb rental homes in Pensacola. The arrest report noted the 31-year-old filmed the acts while repeatedly relieving herself. She then allegedly posted the videos on an adult content platform. Which one? Where? So I can be sure to avoid them. Authorities said $3,000 worth of damage was done to items including an antique chair, a typewriter, a toaster, and a television. The arrest report noted that the homeowner must replace all the damaged items. Coe was taken to jail and later released on bond. Only piss. See, you can't do piss content on OnlyFans. You have to do that on Fansly. No idea why I know that. So, from a sex worker pissing in an Airbnb to a story about raw meat.
New at 11, a San Francisco restaurant is responding tonight to this photo circulating on social media. Look carefully. It shows pounds of meat left outside of the shop doors during an unseasonably warm weekend. Now, the owner of the restaurant says there's an explanation to all of this. NBC's Gia Vang has the details.
You could call it
not just meat, a gigantic thing of mayonnaise.
somewhat of a rare sight. Packaged raw beef and a jar of mayonnaise on the pavement outside the Mission District location of Hamburger Project on Guerrero and 18. A Reddit user captured the initial image yesterday, posting raw hamburger left in the sun on the sidewalk. Ew. Joven works at the corner store across the street. He says he saw the delivery driver knock for a bit, but the restaurant was closed.
So I asked him, you can drop in the store because I work in the neighborhood over there, in front of that. So he just said, no, I'm not allowed to do that.
Joven says that's when the driver left the ground beef on the sidewalk and sent the owner this message saying he didn't have time to wait. The owner told me over the phone he was horrified. He said they ran out of meat because of a busier than usual Friday and Saturday, likely because of the warm weather. Since he was out of town, he ordered more via Instacart. He says the delivery arrived early before any of his employees showed up. But an Instacart spokesperson said the delivery was made within the customer selected.
No. I've had them arrive early before. I've used Instacart for years. They don't always arrive in the time. They will arrive early. They do not care. I've multiple times. They've arrived hours early.
Delivery window. And the driver made attempts to communicate with a customer upon arrival. When workers did arrive more than half an hour later, Hamburger Project says they tossed the products. The restaurant put out this statement saying, in part, "We take food safety extremely seriously and have already updated our delivery procedures to ensure this does not happen again."
That's the right call.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was just
it's
like
meat.
what, like 3 packs of like raw meat and then just like a mayo. I mean, that's just reasonable to throw it out anyway.
Yeah.
The post has garnered more than 3,000 up or down votes and nearly 600 comments where users appear to be beefing with each other and trying to lay blame.
I didn't think it warranted negative comments about Hamburger Project or the delivery person. No one was harmed in the leaving of hamburger.
Yeah, it was just a misunderstanding. Nobody was served that
In
meat.
San Francisco, Gia Vang, NBC Bay Area News.
Pretty nothing burger story, pun intended. At least it was just meat they were shipping. These shipping containers could be falling off a truck not a truck, a ship in Long Beach.
Developing right now, a cargo ship. It has been docked at the port of Long Beach. This is what's going on this morning. This was after a turbulent trip in the Pacific. So check out the containers. They're knocked over. Some of them are barely hanging on. NBC4's Michelle Vise is live in Long Beach with the cleanup that's going on right now. So Michelle, do we know what was actually lost at sea?
That is being investigated right now as this complicated cleanup begins here. Let me zoom in or have a photographer, Enrique Roman.
A few days ago, I've got no update on it, so I assume they didn't fall.
Damaged cargo containers here. Some of them appear to be teetering off the OOCL Sunflower. This is the ultra-large cargo ship that's docked here at the port of Long Beach. Close watch after dozens of containers were already damaged and lost at sea. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, 32 containers already
If you guys
went
got something coming in the mail and it's all banged up, you know why now.
March 3rd, they were traveling from the south of the Aleutian Islands, which is near Alaska, on its way from Taiwan to Long Beach. And according to the NOAA report, it says the crew, to answer your question, Lynette, was not able to complete a full damage assessment at sea due to the safety concerns. So now that inspection is happening here at the port. And this comes about 6 months after a similar incident here at the port when more than 70 containers fell from another vessel.
Yeah, I remember that.
Cargo into the water and triggering a massive cleanup. That was 6 months ago in September. Now, back out here, this latest incident highlights the ongoing challenges in the shipping industry, especially as crews face extreme weather. So right now, what they have is a 100-yard safety zone that's been set up around the ship as crews will begin offloading. It's going to be a complicated procedure there, like a game of Jenga, essentially, to make sure those containers don't fall into the water. Inspectors will assess the damage, but so far they say there's no reports of injuries or pollution tied to this incident. We will, of course, keep you posted. At the Port of Long Beach, Michelle Valles for Today in LA.
Big Ben, I would assume that people or delivery drivers most don't knock anymore because... one, we've seen so many incidents of people like harassing them or homeowners pulling guns on them and shit. They probably want to drop off shit, get in and get out. And also, most people are like watching exactly where their delivery driver is on an app. On almost everything. Like UPS, FedEx, Instacart. They tell you like to the like inch where people are. So I would just assume that's the reason why a lot of drivers don't knock anymore. They assume that you're watching exactly where they're at, know exactly where your package is. And a lot of people have like social issues. They don't want to interact with somebody. Are you a delivery driver because you don't want to fucking interact with people and interact with the public? I tend to not pay attention, but if I'm really excited for something, I'll keep checking all throughout the day. Like, ooh, where is it at? Yeah, and then like if it's Amazon, they've got hyper performance metrics and shit they gotta live up to. Was that the last story I had? Apparently. I'll do the Reacher dude because apparently that's a wild story. I'll do. Oh shit! It's 4:20. Happy 4:20 Mountain Time Zone peeps. You guys know that monkey that went viral? The one that had the stuffed animal? Punch. I can't remember if I played the video or not. Punch apparently has a girlfriend now.
Finally tonight here, he's lonely no longer. Tonight they grow up so
monkey.
fast.
punched the monkey, and that zoo outside Tokyo now says he has a girlfriend. You remember that little monkey abandoned by his mother, shunned by the other monkeys. Zookeepers giving him that stuffed orangutan from IKEA to try to help him build his confidence, cuddling, dragging that stuffed animal everywhere he went. His fellow primates grooming him, hitching a ride in the back of this monkey before falling off. Back in the U.S., so many zoos here trying the same experiment, from the San Antonio Zoo, where that gorilla was unfazed, to the Phoenix Zoo and the hug.
That gorilla didn't even give a shit.
San Francisco Zoo, apparently it's working. And try to help him build his confidence, cuddling, dragging that stuffed animal everywhere he went. His fellow primates grooming him, hitching a ride in the back of this monkey before falling off. Back in the U.S., so many zoos here trying the same experiment, from the San Antonio Zoo, where that gorilla was unfazed, to the Phoenix Zoo and the hug. Well, tonight, new pictures from the San Francisco Zoo. Apparently it's working there. And tonight, Punch, outside Tokyo, look at this, walking up to his new girlfriend, hugging her. And now so many visiting that zoo, sharing videos of the two cuddling together, playing together, even kissing. Tonight, Punch's fans now say this is the fairy tale ending he deserved. Good for Punch. He's going to have a... Finally tonight here, he's lonely no longer. Tonight, they grow up so fast. Punch the monkey and that zoo outside Tokyo.
They grow up so fast, don't they?
Has a girlfriend.
Now the girlfriend has to deal with his mommy issues.
By his mother, shunned by the other monkeys. Zookeepers giving him that stuffed orangutan from IKEA to try to help him build his confidence, cuddling, dragging that stuffed animal everywhere he went. His fellow primates grooming him, hitching a ride in the back of this monkey before falling off. Back in the U.S., so many zoos here trying the same experiment, from the San Antonio Zoo, where that gorilla was unfazed, to the Phoenix Zoo and the hug. Well, tonight, new pictures from the San Francisco Zoo. Apparently it's working there. And tonight, Punch, outside Tokyo, look at this, walking up to his new girlfriend.
Twitch people, you're heading over to your Uncle Soup.
And now so many visiting that zoo,
I
sharing
might be
videos
back later, play some video games on Twitch.
even kissing.
Light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun for you at the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol.